Well, the holidays are coming up, and I'm guessing you guys are gonna need a lot of money spare from the holidays. So, I've come up with well, at least in my opinion, the best 1500, which would be a pretty high-end gaming system for $1,500. So let's get right started with the motherboard. We have the Asus Crosshair 5 Formula Z. It's an AM3 Plus socket, so we're going with an AMD system. The reason why I'm going with an AMD system is because you can overclock the shit out of everything by AMD, or at least the Black Edition stuff. So, and plus the case, which I'm going to get into next, is red and black. So the colors of the Crosshair 5 will go good with the case color as well. So everything works out pretty well. Pretty much your standard 4 PCI Express slots. You can only probably fit at least like 3 graphics cards in there, because most, at least medium to high-end graphics cards nowadays, they take up two PCI Express ports on the back of your case. So you can probably only you'd have to get an extended motherboard, like a what would it be? ATI or whatever it is. But so yeah, this motherboard goes for $230. Pretty good. Recommended AM3 Plus socket. Next up for the case is the Cooler Master Half 932 Advanced. So basically, what you're gonna get is 3 230mm fans, which is gonna give you really quiet fans for the size, because they can spin at a lot less, slower revolutions, which means, like, if you had an 80mm fan versus a 230mm fan, to suck in or blow out as much air as a 230mm fan, that 80mm fan would have to go at like fucking 5,000 RPM, which would be really loud. So it's good that they added 3 of those, and they have one 140mm fan in the back, and they red up red, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, you have 4 USB 2 on your I/O in the front of the case, which is really good. You have a eSATA port, obviously your microphone, head jack port, things like that, and your hard drive and power LED as well, and a FireWire. Actually, on top of the case, there is a special place to hold a water block for water cooling, and that's good. We're not going full water cooling in this system. We're just going to use a radiator for the CPU. We'll get into that as well. Oh, by the way, the case is going to be $130, and that's a full tower. That's really fucking good for the money. Alright, so next up is the Corsair Hydro Series H80 for $90. My friend actually got this. He hasn't installed his yet, but I'm guessing it's pretty good because it's by Corsair. So we'll just have to wish for the best. Alright, next up, this is going to be a lot of Corsair shit because I love Corsair. There's a lot of quality and time spent in these products. So I really didn't flunk out on the PSU, their power supply. We're going to go with the Corsair HX 850 watt power supply. That'll pretty much be more than enough for everything in your system. But just in case you want to put in another graphics card or something like that, go Crossfire, or as with NVIDIA's graphics cards, you're going to go SLI. 850 watts is going to be more than enough. And it's modular. So you can see you have 4 PCI power Express thingamajiggers. Obviously your main 24-pin connector. Actually, I don't think it is fully modular. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's fully modular, but for the most part, most of it is. So at least it's partly modular. Next up, we're going to have the RAM, or the memory. It's going to be the Corsair Vengeance. We're going to go with 16 gigs. 8 gigs is enough. Might as well bump it up to 16 gigs because it's going to be a medium to high-end gaming rig. It's DDR3, obviously DDR2 sucks cock. And the red actually goes with the color of the case as well. So you're going to get 16 gigs, is well more than enough. Obviously, if you're going to have an OS, you're going to have... I mean, you might as well just transfer your OS if you already have a computer to your new computer. That's why I didn't add that in this build. But if you're gonna get like, if you have Windows 7 Ultimate, you can get 32 gigs. Obviously, that's going to 16 and 32 gigs while gaming is not the isn't like, you can't really notice a big difference. But for rendering out videos, like my friend, he said he had 32 gigs of RAM, and before he switched to 32 gigs of RAM, like a 5-minute clip, because he did a lot of editing, things like that, and that takes a lot of time to render out. Not just depending on your CPU, but your RAM as well. He could render it out at 32 gigs within like fucking 5 minutes, and it's like a 10-minute clip with all these edits in it. So that's pretty good. And that's going to be going for, let's see, that's going to go for $67, and the heatsink is going to be $90. Sorry, I keep forgetting to mention that stuff. Alright, so next up to hold your OS is going to be the Corsair, once again. 60 gig Force 3 SSD. It's going to be really fast, and for the money, which is going to be $80. I actually should have got this in my build, but I was a retard and I didn't. It's going to be really fast for the money, 60 gigs. You can probably hold your SSD, all the updates for Windows 7 or Windows 8, whatever you're going to get. I don't recommend getting Windows 8. I'll probably say that in a later video, because that will go on to the next 5 hours. But you can probably hold another couple programs on these, maybe a couple of games, Battlefield 3, or you could just get a whole another SSD and hold all of your video clips, things like that in it. But anyways, for the OS, yeah, Corsair 60 gig Force 3. Alright, next up is the CPU. We're going to go with the AMD FX 6100. And, no, sorry, FX 6200 Zambezi. I think you can overclock it to 4.2 gigahertz, and its core clock is 3.8 gigahertz. AM3 Plus, obviously, to go with our motherboard. It's a black edition. You can overclock the mother holding fuck out of this thing. That's why I said it goes up by about at least 4.4 gigahertz, which is quite a big difference. You don't even need to overclock this thing. The only reason why I got the H80 to complement the FX 6200 was because it's a 6-core, and a quad core is good enough for gaming, but I read some reviews about the 6200 AMD, and this guy was like, I can run like 10 programs at once, you know, Skype, fucking editing videos with Sony Vegas, and it only uses up about 10% CPU usage while you're not gaming. So that's why I went for the 6-core. And there's not much of a price difference either. If you go look it up, I mean, you might as well just go for a 6-core. I mean, quad core is good, but 6-core, you know, even better. So now down to the GPU, and last would be the case fans, which are kind of optional, but I just go for those because they're cooler, or well, they're quieter for one thing, and you can just modify the fuck out of them, and you know, get a wide variety of LEDs for them. But anyways, GPU, I'm gonna go for the EVGA GeForce GTX 660 Ti 2 gig video cards, 192-bit. GDDR5 memory, that's going to go for $300. Pretty standard video card. I mean, nothing too big about. I mean, there's a VGA, a DVI, HDMI port, and something else over there is. I mean, it's a good graphics card. It's definitely going to be able to run Battlefield 3. Max settings, I mean, I have a Radeon HD 7870, or 7850? Yeah, it's a 7870 2 gig video card. Pretty much kind of similar. I heard NVIDIA graphics cards ran better just by themselves, but then again, going crossfire with 2 Radeon graphics cards would be more powerful than running 2 NVIDIA graphics cards. I'm not too sure about that between SLI and crossfire, but all I know is that this is I know either the 660 or the 680 are one of the most powerful NVIDIA graphics cards, like standalone graphics cards, out to date by themselves. So that's going to go for $300. You can probably go Eyefinity with this. I wouldn't probably try. I think with any graphics card, no matter what, if it did allow Eyefinity, I would probably just go with 2 graphics card anyway. Probably go SLI or Crossfire when you're going Infinity, just to get that extra extra GPU processing power, and to be able to run 1920 by 1080 max settings on like Battlefield 3 or Skyrim, things like that. You're gonna want some pretty good GPU processing power. So go with the EVGA GeForce 660 Ti. For the case fans, you're going to go for a white, what are they called, Bit Phoenix Spectre Pro. To complement the 3 230mm fans on our case, we're going to go with 3 230mm fans from Bit Phoenix. They're going to be white LED fans. Obviously, I didn't see many different variety of LED fans, but I did see these 3 white LED 230mm fans for around $28 each. Plus, they didn't have a white LED 140mm fan for the exhaust on the back of the case, so that's going to be just green. Totals $91 with all those fans put together. So, altogether, final conclusion about this tower. I'm not adding the any keyboards and mouse or anything, just strictly the tower. Really good. I would recommend this to anybody that has the money and the spare time to build this. It would definitely work out well if you did have the money. I don't have the money to build it. Otherwise, I would probably borrow my friend's camcorder and probably film it in some action. Give you guys some like benchmarks, things like that, with Task Manager on this handy dandy Windows 7. But yeah, I guess it's a medium to high-end gaming rig. Obviously, you can upgrade this whenever you want. Probably get a bigger SSD. Make sure you don't get Windows 7. If you're gonna get Windows 7, don't get the $100 one like I did, because I can't transfer it to any other hard drive or SSD to make it boot up faster or anything like that. So make sure you get I think it's like $250 for the full version that you can get. Like, they're both full versions, but one allows you to transfer to other SSDs or hard drives, and the other one you can't. So just go for the more expensive kind. That's gonna be around a $1,700 bill. But for now, strictly the case without any OS. So yeah, pretty good build. I mean, you're gonna be able to run most games, actually every game, since my graphics card and the EVGA 2 gig video card that I mentioned, they're pretty much both kind of similar. So you'll be able to run pretty much any game, max settings, at least 40 FPS or higher. While recording, probably around the same. I mean, DX Story only takes away about 6 or 7 frames, and Fraps, don't even go with Fraps, because Fraps is for Frap fanboys, and I'm not a Frap fanboy. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Rate, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, happy killing.